Now we're talking about Rick Warren of the Purpose-Driven Life Saddleback Church, and he is going to give the invocation of Barack Obama's inauguration, and people are up in arms over it because of his anti-gay rights position. He was in favor of Prop 8, which took away the rights of gay people to marry in California. Now, I think that him giving the invocation is not that big a deal. I'm much more concerned about the laws that Barack Obama passes rather than the symbolic act where he reaches out to the other side. Now, he wouldn't be reaching out to the other side if they weren't on the other side. Now, having said that, I just saw some clips of Rick Warren, which we're going to play for you right here, which are disconcerting and made me quite angry. So let's watch and have some fun. Here's clip number 1.
And to me, the Proposition 8 thing was really more about free speech than anything else. I don't have a problem with equal rights for all kinds of people. In fact, I'm in favor of that. And I would fight for that. I just do simply oppose redefining marriage. The historical definition that for 5,000 years, every single culture and every single religion, it's not just Christianity, Judaism, Buddhism, Islam, they've all said marriage is between a man and a woman. And if you want to have a relationship, fine, just don't call it marriage. Okay? And I'm opposed to brothers marrying sisters. I'm opposed to older guys marrying underage girls. I'm opposed to one guy having more than one wife. So it's not a gay issue. Nobody can accuse me of homophobia. I don't think any church has done more to help gays with AIDS than Saddleback. My wife and I have given millions to save the lives of people who are gay who have AIDS. And I have many, many gay friends. I don't happen to agree with what they believe, and they don't even agree with what I believe. But we're still friends.
Here's where you're wrong, definitively wrong, Reverend Warren. Yes, people can accuse you of homophobia, especially when you compare gays to pedophiles. Did you hear what he just said? I don't want some older guy marrying an underage girl, and none of us do, because that is not consensual relationship. And you're comparing a perfectly consensual relationship to one that is criminal, and incest and polygamy, and he throws it all in there, and he goes, what? Why are gay people upset? I just said they're like pedophiles that molest little kids. Why are you so, what's the big deal? No one can accuse me of being against gays. Look, I help AIDS. See, gay equals AIDS. I helped AIDS, so I must be helping gays. So there you go. By the way, AIDS has now become the thing that you give to in order to salvage your name, and that allows you to do every other terrible thing. George Bush, the one good thing he did was he gave a lot of money towards AIDS relief in Africa. And then he's like, well, look, I must be a good guy. I started a war that killed hundreds of thousands of people, but I gave some money to AIDS. So Rick Warren uses the same excuse. But the parts that bothered me most were, one, free speech. So it's a free speech issue. No, it's not. It's about gay marriage. That amendment had nothing to do with free speech. You're just using that as a cover to say, hey, I'm saying something loathsome, but I have the right to say it. Yes, you do. But then I have the right to tell you that what you're saying is loathsome and hateful, right? It's not a free speech issue. Well, then you can say, hey, look, we took away the rights of black people to get married to white people, but it's a free speech issue. It's a free speech issue. I have the right to come up with an opinion that's absolutely hateful. You do have that right. All right, now, and he says, I'm for equal rights for all kinds of people, even these gay guys, right? I don't believe you. That's not true at all. But the part that bothered me the most out of all of that was the fact that he's just wrong on the history of it. I don't know if he's lying or ignorant. For 5,000 years, marriage has always been between one man and one woman. That's not true at all. Read the Bible. In the Old Testament, you mentioned Judaism, people get married to several different wives, and then sometimes to their servants as well. They have concubines, they sleep with prostitutes, and it's not between one man and one woman. For 5,000 years in all cultures, they didn't marry just Islam. In Islam, you can get married to 4 women. So how is that one man and one woman? Now, different societies these days that are Islamic follow that, and some of them don't follow it, but it's in the Quran. Buddhism hasn't always been between one man and one woman. And throughout those 5,000 years, do you have any idea how many different arrangements there's been? And mainly, it's been for money, not for love. It's been a societal, a transaction more than anything else. People have had concubines for those whole 5,000 years, almost to the very end here. In the last couple of 100 years, some people still have concubines, but not quite as much. Elliot Spitzer, Bill Clinton, David Vitter, and the rest. Okay, we don't call it concubines anymore. But the idea of pretending that it's one man and one woman for 5,000 years is just not true. These guys, what they do is they take these words like marriage and they pretend they own it. Now, one more thing before we go on to the next clue, which is equally absurd. I want a decent interviewer, somebody for the love of God on television. When you get one of these guys who doesn't like gay marriage, ask them one simple question. Hey, listen, does that mean that you're against everybody who eats shrimp? Two things that I'm going to focus on from now on. Now, there's a million absurd things in the Old Testament and in the New Testament and throughout the Bible, and these guys pick whichever ones they want, and they want to hate gays, so they pick that one, right? But two things I'm going to focus on. One is shrimp, and the other is adultery. In the Bible, right next to where it says that you should, a man cannot sleep with another man, it says that if you eat shellfish, it is an abomination to God, and it says if you commit adultery, you should be executed. So Rick Warren, should people who commit adultery be executed? Yes or no? Oh, no? Oh, that's it? You don't believe in the Bible? Then shut up about gay marriage. Shut up. That's not even in the Bible. Whereas the adultery thing is. The gay marriage or not gay marriage. And shellfish. If you think people can go to a Red Lobster, no, then you can't say a word about gay marriage. But of course, Rick Warren doesn't think that he's offending gay rights at all. Look at clip number 2 here, where he tells us he's totally generous towards gay people. You want to find out how? You're going to love this. Check this out.
How have you reconciled yourself with that pain that you've caused because of that loss of faith in you?
Well, because if that hadn't passed, the pain that would have caused to far millions more, I think, would be more severe.
Your position has raised the specter that you are homophobic. And that is why you laugh. But that is why people are angry. Gay people are angry. And how is it possible for them to be civil to someone who would maybe deny, who would say, I don't like what you are? You understand that.
Well, I could give you 100 gay friends.
Are you homophobic?
Of course not. I have always treated them with respect. When they come and want to talk to me, I talk to them. When the protesters came, we served them water and donuts.
Wow, you gave donuts! Hey, listen, fat ass, not everybody's interested in donuts. Oh, you took away my rights, but oh, you gave me donuts! Oh, Boston cream, terrific! That's not how it works. I gave him water and donuts. How generous of you. Are you not merciful? And let that laugh. I took away their rights and they think I'm homophobic? I compared them to pedophiles and they think I'm homophobic? Whoa! Look, Obama can have him give the invocation, but I got no interest in guys like this. They're dead wrong, and they're hateful, and they pick parts of the Bible to focus on that have everything to do with hate and nothing to do with love, and then they come around and laugh at you and say, oh, but I gave you donuts. Keep your frickin' donuts, Rick Warren.